This Shai Gilgeous-Alexander build is an insane offensive threat on NBA 2K24. This build is an insane slasher with a super high driving layup rating while also having an insane mid-range shot, making you unstoppable on the offensive end. But with all of that out of the way, man, let's get started with today's video. Let's go. All right, so when making this build, you're going to be making it at the point guard position. Height is going to be 6'6", weight 180 pounds with a 7'2" wingspan. And starting things off in the finishing, we're going to have a 71 close shot and 88 driving layup, which is going to get you fearless finisher on gold, float game on Hall of Fame, scooper on Hall of Fame. You're just going to have a bunch of really important layup badges all on Hall of Fame, which is essential on a Shai Gilgeous-Alexander build. Then moving on to the driving dunk, we're going to go with a 70, which is going to get you a bunch of good driving dunk packages, which include the Luka Doncic dunk package as well as Klay Thompson. And then we're also going to have a 75 post control on this build, just so we have a little bit of a post game. Shai has a bit of a post game, so I wanted to have some post control on this build. So we ended up going with a 75, and that's going to be enough to get some good badges like post fade phenom on gold and a bunch of other post scoring badges on silver. All right, and now let's take a look at some of these finishing highlights. And if you guys have played any of the rec or pretty much any game mode in 2K24, you know layups are absolutely insane this year. Not only that, but floaters and scoop layups are really good this year. Right here out on the break, just hit them with the scoop layup right over our opponent and it's an easy score. Right here we got a little spin lane into the buzzer beater, got people jumping at us, but it's still an open. I'll take a look at this right here, behind the back, speed boost, going into the lane, hit him with the floater into the acrobat. That was kind of nasty, I'm not gonna lie. Now look at this, in transition, go for the contact dunk, we green that, get canceled out of the animation, then still green the heavily contested layup afterwards. But yeah, no man, finishing in this game is insane, and if you have a high driving layup, you're gonna be able to pretty much score at will as long as you know what layups to do at what time. And again, like I mentioned previously, the floaters are just insane this year. You can hit them contested, you can hit them when they're open, it doesn't matter. They're gonna more than likely go in right here. Big tries to fake step, goes back into the drop coverage, and we just hit the floater. It's wide open, it's easy. Now there are two things that I want to mention really quickly when it comes to layups before we move on to the next segment. The first things first, I highly recommend you turn your layup timing on. You're just gonna make more layup. And secondly, once you get used to the timing, turn your meter off, because listen, when you're shooting wide open layups or even open layups, the green meter is going to be so large that you're gonna make them more than likely anyways once you kind of understand how the animations work. Now moving on to the shooting, we're going to have a 90 mid-range shot, which is going to get you Deadeye and Blinders on gold, and you're also gonna have Mini Magician on gold with this build. And then moving on to the 3-point shot, you're going to have a 76, which is going to be enough to get you Agent 3s on bronze, which is going to help you be consistent when hitting shots off of the dribble out at the 3-point line. All right, so now let's move on to the shooting highlights. Listen, man, whether it's in the mid-range or out at the 3-point line, you're going to be able to be consistent. Right here, look at this, Jamal Murray behind the back, wide open, kind of a deep shot. That's from almost 28 feet out. That would technically be considered limitless range if I had that badge. We're knocking that shot in with a 76 3-pointer. And again, take a look at this right here, off the catch and shoot out the corner. It's an easy shot. You're gonna be able to knock it in. You have a high mid-range shot, which is gonna get you access to better jump shot bases and better badges as well when it comes to shooting. But look at this right here in takeover. We're hitting the step back 3 from almost 28 feet out on the Shai build. Yes, I had take, but understand that's still a pretty tough shot to hit. And again, man, you can score out of the post. You got that high mid-range shot, so your post fade is going to be decent as well. And if you guys were wondering what hop jumper I was using there, it is actually Kevin Huerter, which is probably the best hop jumper for swings, but it's only really good in one direction. If you do the hop jumper the other way, you're gonna get no separation whatsoever, but the one way that you can do it from that gets a lot of separation is going to be nasty. And also has a pretty nice snatchback hop jumper animation cooked into there as well, which is really good to use. But again, hit him with the step back right there. That is disgusting, bro. Yeah, no, to summarize everything up again with this build, you're just gonna be pretty insane when it comes to shooting in the mid-range area. You're gonna be super consistent in the mid-range area. And then out at the 3-point line, if you know what you're doing, if you know how to time your shot, you'll definitely be able to hit from out there as well. Now I could have given you guys all of those insane shooting highlights without giving you guys a jump shot. Here it is right here. It's gonna be base Tracy McGrady, upper release 1 Troy Brown Jr., release 2 Kobe Bryant, blended 58 to 42% in favor of Troy Brown Jr. at maximum speed. Now this is the jump shot that I've been pretty much using on all of my swing builds. I got this on this build, I got it on the Larry Bird build as well as the Luka Doncic build. It is by far the best swing jumper in the game. All right, so moving on to the playmaking, we're going to have an 87 pass accuracy, which is going to get you bailout on bronze, which is a very nice passing badge to have this year. And then moving down to the ball handle, we're going to have a 93, which is going to unlock ankle breakers on Hall of Fame, as well as killer combos on gold. And then when you combine that 93 ball handle with an 83 speed with ball, as well as an 86 speed, you're going to get access to speed booster on gold, which is what is going to allow you to accelerate really fast on this build and create separation from your opponent. All right, and now let's take a look at some of these playmaking highlights. And listen, this little section is going to be a combination of multiple things. One, actual good playmaking highlights where I'm dotting teammates and they end up scoring, and a compilation of rec randoms being rec randoms. Now right here, I'm getting Bliss before I even get past half court. He ends up scoring, but look at this right here. Boy is spotting up out at the wing. I'm getting doubled because of it, and then he doesn't shoot it. Like, listen, man, all I'm saying is if you're gonna spot up on the wing and I hit you when you're wide open, I better not see you start running to the rim afterwards. If you're open on the three, it's for a reason. Shoot the ball. But now back to talking about the actual build, man. That 87 pass accuracy is going to be pretty nice to have. Now, obviously, in this situation, I didn't have all of my playmaking badges because this build is relatively new. Look at this. Got the center jumping out at me, so we dump it down to the big on the pick and roll. And listen, man, I like centers that set screens. I like bigs that do pick and roll. I just don't like it when I have multiple bigs that can only pick and roll. And so help me God, if if you make a build that is not a center or a power forward that cannot shoot, please seek help, delete the build, and if you're gonna make something that can't shoot, make it at the 4 or the 5, please. Oh, wasn't that a nice play, that last possession? You know, dot a man wide open with sharp take. What does he do? Not shoot to catch a shoot, run out to the mid-range area, and then shoot a contested standstill mid. You know, that's what we like to see, man. I'm not gonna lie. Right here, dot a man wide open. That's tough. Now, right here, out on the fast break, got sharp take, kind of getting double dot. The same guy again, wide open in the corner, hits the bottom of the rim, and it clanks hard, badly. Hit a guy right here, wide open. What are you doing? What are you doing? If you can't shoot, what the... Moving on to the defense. All right, so now moving on to the defense, we're going to have a 75 perimeter defense, which is going to get you access to bronze clamps, which is going to be pretty serviceable when it comes to guarding guys on the perimeter. Now, for pretty much everything else on the defense, there's not going to be a whole lot. You do have 48 interior defense, but you do have a 68 block, which is going to get you chase down artist on bronze. I do like being able to have some blocks on builds when I can, because, you know, sometimes you get beat and you want to be able to get that chase down. Then the 48 interior isn't like super optimal, but you're going to be able to get the job done with it. All right, so now moving on to the very minimal defensive highlights that I do have on this build, because when I made this build, I did not upgrade the perimeter defense yet. So you guys are seeing me play defense with pretty much no prim D. You're still able to get bumpy with no prim D. And so I think once you have 75, it's still going to be really good. All right, so now here is the build fully maxed out. And as you can see in the physicals, we have an 86 speed so we can get gold speed booster, and 84 acceleration so we can get blow by on gold. And then when it comes to the strength, we're going up to a 63 so we can get physical handles on silver, as well as fearless finisher on gold. We're going to have a vertical that is in the 60s and a 96 stamina, which is the minimum stamina that you need to get handles for days on gold. All right, so now the build is complete, and coming out of the My Player Builder, you're going to get the player comparisons of D'Angelo Russell, Spencer Dinwiddie, and JoJo White. And for the build name, which I actually really like, you're going to get the name Slashing Playmaker on this build. This build was actually super fun for me to play on. I normally don't do a whole lot of guard content on this channel, but I've been having a lot more fun playing on the 6'6 builds, the 6'8 builds. That's going to be pretty much it for today's video, man. I'm out. Peace.